Hello, I'm Chris Downham from Rise Yoga, and this is the third time I've done this video. So I'm using my meditation techniques to keep me sane. This video is going to be part of a series about my experiment on myself as a curious person about health on my first 5-day fast. I have spent the last nearly 40 days just doing one meal a day, so I'm in a good position to go into this. Before I get started, I just want to tell you a little bit about myself and why I am here talking to you guys about health. I am 44 years old. I spent the first, after university, became a financial advisor, so about 20 years of my life wearing suits and ties, eating meat, getting fat, drinking lots, ego-driven, trying to amass fortune, wanting to be a billionaire, and then I bollocksed it. I was victim of a fraud with my identical twin brother about 4 years ago, and then two years ago and a couple of months ago we went bankrupt, lost everything we had. We had a large portfolio of houses, several businesses, but at the same time lost all my bank accounts and my credit cards, and my emails stopped and the phone calls stopped and the responsibilities stopped. And I decided at that stage I wanted to spend the next half of my life, and now I believe it will be the next 2/3 of my life, living an entirely different existence to that old Chris led. So now this is new Chris talking to you. So I was a big meat eater, and I became plant-based, a vegan for the last sort of 18 months. I was a big drinker, loved my red wine and my gin and tonics, and I've become sober for about the last 18 months. I played a lot of team sports, I was very competitive, and now I do yoga. In fact, this Rise, pretty much everything I own, because I became a minimalist after having so much stuff. So pretty much everything I have has some sort of Rise blending, because that's the merch for our business, Rise Urban Yoga. So when I went bankrupt, I was wandering around, searching for my passion and purpose in life, because everything I'd done before, it might not have been the right thing, but I was very, very passionate and purposeful about it, and that gave me huge energy to bring to the table. And I'd sort of lost my energy because I just didn't know what I was going to do. I just knew it had to be something completely different. So I set up a community farm with my brother, and we were hacking away at the farm, getting a bit of headspace. But one day walking towards the farm, I walked past a yoga studio and it said life transformation inside. I'm like, yeah, I need a bit of life transformation. So started doing yoga, loved the way it made my body feel and my mind feel, just had a little bit of headspace without the need for alcohol or drugs. And but I kept saying to friends, you've got to do yoga, and they would go along to do yoga, and they'd be wanting the health benefits, the moving their body and the resting their mind, standing on one leg and balance and strength, but they didn't want all the what they would term woo-woo, the hippy-dippy shitty bit stuff. Nothing wrong with that at all. So we very well serviced by every other yoga studio. So we set up Rise to provide real accessibility for non-yoga, for non-yogis, if you like, for the 98% of people who don't perceive themselves to be what they think a yogi might be. So we love Rise. We have like the most diverse population of people, and I was doing some marketing the other day and people said, who is your ideal customer avatar? I don't have an ideal customer avatar, I have an ideal customer mindset. It's about people who want to become the best version of themselves, and that's what I'm doing here as well. I'm wanting to become the best version of myself. So before we go any further, this is about me being curious, and this is a video for other people who are curious about their health. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical professional, I am the son of a doctor. So I'm not telling people to go and do this and it will cure all of your problems. I hope it's going to work really well for me. If at any point during the next 5 days I feel really shite, obviously I'm going to have a few headaches and I'm not going to feel brilliant at some stages, but if I feel really shite, I'm just going to stop. And I'll make a video about that, and it won't have worked for me. But I really hope it will. So why fasting? I've always been an avid consumer of personal development stuff. And as I moved from sort of books about leadership and making money and stuff like that, and time management, I moved more into books about meditation and health. And I kept seeing, I do suffer from confirmation bias. So if there's something that I believe in, then like obviously this is the problem with all these things, isn't it? You type something into Google and then you keep seeing the same things, confirming what you already thought. So I just kept seeing more and more stuff about intermittent fasting, and then that moved into autophagy, autophagy. I'm not going to go into too much of the science here, although a lot of the tests that you're going to see me doing upon myself, obviously they're scientific tests, because I like the data, I like things to be measurable. But also during this, don't know where I was then, so I'm going on some other bit, but also on this journey, when 2 years ago, when I actually went bankrupt, I was 90 kilograms and now 70 kilograms. So I've lost about 3 stone in weight, and I've lost that slowly, and I've lost that for many reasons. And this isn't, you know, none of it is like just freaky diets. This is stuff for life. So autophagy, guy who he won, you know, proper science. This a Nobel Prize for Medicine was given in 2016 for autophagy to Yoshinori Ohusumi. And he got into this in about the 1980s, Japanese guy, because it was blue ocean science. Nothing was being done in that. Medicine was really good and has been for the sort of the last 100 years, looking at the big stuff, the hearts, the lungs, the brain, the muscles, stuff that they can slice open and look at mechanically how they work. But very little was done on the cellular level. How, you know, literally every cell in our body is replaced every few years, or certainly, sorry, a few months, or certainly every few years. We are not the same person today as we were 2 years ago at a cellular level, which just freaks me out, but it also really turns me on. So I'm like, that's great, really want to learn more about that. And I think that's the same goes for understanding the gut. There's so much stuff going on in here which drives so much of our health, but it just wasn't a very sexy part of medicine to get involved in, and this is something else that part of my research and experiment myself is also going to be do that. And actually intermittent fasting, and you are starving your gut bacteria of some of the things that they might want, and hence like sugars and carbohydrates and stuff like that. In fact, you're starving them from pretty much everything. So some of those bad bacteria will die, and they will be passed away, and they are brown coloured, and will be replaced with some better, healthier bacteria based on healthier lifestyle. So loads of science, love it, want to get into that, want to learn more. Why am I doing it myself? I want to improve my health. I want to be the best health version of me. I no longer want to be a billionaire. I want to just be so healthy. But I also, you know, I want to feel and look sexy. More important to me now at 44 than it was at 20. I think it's because I never was a very good looking guy, but people my age, they're starting to not look as good as maybe they were, so I'm coming out from behind there, from the back of the field. I want to lose a bit of weight. I'm 70 kilograms now, I want to get down to 65 kilograms. I want to improve my mental clarity. When you fast and intermittent fast, you go into a state what's called ketosis, which creates ketones that feed your body. Obviously not just starving your body is looking for things to eat, looks for cellular damaged cells, extra skin, fat, all that sort of stuff. It just consumes it to create the proteins that your body needs and create ketones that feed your brain. And this is real brain rocket fuel, I hope, but we will see. I also meditate every day, and part of meditation was what allowed me to stop drinking, because I didn't need the release of alcohol, because I literally could take a 10-minute mini holiday just by breathing. Fuck, it felt good. I had a few niggles when a couple of years ago, literally if I went to the cinema, I would have to lie down on the back row and just like head pop down the aisle. If I was in a car journey, I would be lying on the back seat, and that's all gone now. From yoga and diet, last year I ran some ultra marathons. I ran one on the Saturday and one on the Sunday one day. Woke up on the Monday and I wasn't stiff. I had no inflammation. Thank you, Game Changers. Although that sort of, again, confirmed my bias towards this afterwards. I also want to change my relationship with food. One of the main reasons, one of the main benefits I felt from not drinking is giving me a lot more mental space where I'm not keep thinking, oh, I'll have a drink tonight. What am I going to drink tonight? Oh, I shouldn't have drunk last night. I'm never going to drink again. And all that bollocks that goes on in your head, it gives me more capacity to focus on being the best version of myself, be more present, be more loving, be more joyful, be more peaceful. And I think food takes a lot of my capacity as well, and there's nothing wrong with food. You get so much pleasure from food. But what I will tell you, if you don't eat 3 times a day, where you're constantly filling yourself up, and some people like eat 5 or 6 times a day. Oh, we'll have breakfast, then we'll have 11sies, then we'll have lunch, then we'll have an afternoon snack, then we'll have tea, and then we'll have supper. Oh my God, what are you doing to yourself? The food companies did really well for us making believe that that's what humans need. Obviously, in the past, we didn't have fridges, we didn't have freezers, we didn't have supermarkets. We did have famine and feast. We would go hungry and then we would eat loads and then we would go hungry, and our whole body is adapted to do that. It is not adapted for 3 meals a day. But what you have is, with your circadian rhythm, at different points in the day, your bacteria, but also the circadian rhythm releases hormones, ghrelin, which make you feel hungry. And that feeling will pass. Meditation, everything is transitory, nothing is permanent. So those feelings will pass, and I want to feel how, they can pass completely. I want to not panic when I'm hungry and have to think, oh my God, I've got to pull over at this service station to get something to eat. And actually, because I've only been eating 1 meal a day for like the last 40 days, and that's helped me drop about 5 kilograms as well. I don't think that's going to be a problem. So I think that is all I need. I've done some other videos which were meant to be done afterwards, but yeah, that's what I want to do. Let's do the unveiling. So this is where I am at the moment. So 70 kilograms. I've got some fat on me, but for a 44-year-old, I'm looking pretty good. There we are. So hopefully there will be some changes. A little twerk over the next 5 days. I think we'll lose a little bit here, a little bit there. So that's the end of this video. I'm going to reclothe and do the sitty downy bit. Okay, so now I am at my computer, so you should be able to see a bit of a spreadsheet in front of you. So this is some of the information that I'm going to be gathering, and as I said, this is very much about me experimenting upon myself. So I'm going to have over on here, we've got day 1, which is where we are now, and it is now 10:04. I've been faffing around with trying to get webcams working since about 9 o'clock. As I say, I always get up at 5 a.m, so this is 5 hours into the day. For me, I am going to be doing my ketone levels using this. These are really cheap, fabulous, come with loads of instructions, manuals and bits and bobs. The business model on this is a bit like printers and ink. The printer is cheap, the ink is expensive, so you have to buy test strips for these. The test strips are about £1.80 each. This was £3.99. So I'm going to do my ketone levels. And when I just tested this last night, just after eating, my ketone level was below 0.1 millimoles per litre. I think is the recording, which basically means very low ketone levels in my body. And the reason for that is that my body was feeding off the glucose that my liver had created from the food that I had ingested in the meal that I had just had, and hence it wasn't creating my body hadn't gone into ketosis, wasn't creating ketones. Now, one of the beautiful thing about ketones, this is brain food, and that's why they say that when you fast, or you get this real cognitive clarity, which I'm really looking forward to. So I'd like my ketone levels to, when I do a test in a minute, I expect to be quite a lot higher than 0.1, because now it's 10 o'clock, so I haven't eaten for sort of 13-14 hours, so my body will be starting to go into ketosis at about level about hour 16. I'm going to do my blood glucose as well, so we should find that my ketone levels go up and my blood glucose levels go down, because I'm not going to have the glucose going around in my blood from eating. And there is a calculation which I'm going to go into in another video about how these two balance to show that you are effectively in autophagy. I'm going to do my blood pressure as well, my diastolic and my systolic levels. About 10 years ago, I was aware that my blood pressure was a little bit high, and I've been tracking that for 10 years, doing my best on it. It's about average now, but I'm doing everything I can. my weight, body fat, BMI, bone mass, body water percentage, skeletal muscle mass, and my muscle mass. And I'm using that from a Garmin Connect scales. At our yoga studio as well, we have had and will be getting us again soon a really accurate body composition monitor from Body Tracks, which gives some fabulous information. In fact, I'll just quickly show you that if I can get in. Hang on one second. So if I just go to Body Tracks, should be able to log in. Here we go. So this was me a little bit ago. Let's have a look at data. So 27th of October, and there are, wherever I find the right thing would help. Here we are, reports. Oh no, I've got into, in fact I might ignore that gold edit dashboard. Here we are, maybe it's this dashboard. Here we are. So this is a much more accurate one, which is what we use at the yoga studio. So that had me at 73 kilograms. I'm 70 kilograms now. Got in there as well where my muscle is, where my extracellular, what my hydration levels are, where my fat is, my bone density, all sorts of stuff in there as well. So this will be important, and I will get another one of these done. But at the moment I'm using Garmin. So this is the information from Garmin as of this morning. At 8:34, I weighed 70.3 kilograms, which is a little bit down from when I did my last reading. My BMI is 24.9. My ideal weight wants to be about 65, so I've not got much to lose. Body fat 18.7. I think it's probably a little bit less than that. Skeletal muscle mass 29.2. Bone mass 4.1. My hydration level 59.3, and 60% is about ideal. So hopefully I'll keep well hydrated, but you might find I get a little bit dehydrated anyway doing a fast, even though I will drink quite a lot. So I just go back to the spreadsheet. I'm going to do my blood pressures. I'm going to put what my mood is, and obviously right now my mood is this is out of 5. I doubt that will change. I'm a terrible optimist. I'm pretty much always in a good mood. I think I've been blessed with the happy gene, but also I have done a lot of research and read a lot of books about happiness. And even though I've gone through, I've got an amazing family, which is obviously the most important thing. I have some quality relationships and just a lot of love in my life. But, I lost everything. I'd worked really hard for 25 years and then lost absolutely everything. And my mood then dipped to a 4. So, my mood probably will remain pretty high. At the moment, what's my hunger? So I'm going to say that 1 is like really no hunger, or 0 is no hunger. 5 is like could eat a scabby horse. At the moment, I'm a 1. One of the reasons for that is we obviously have this circadian rhythm, and as you go through the day, your body releases the hormones. Based on, gut bacteria has a lot to do with that. I'm not going to go too much into that. So ghrelin is like the hunger hormone, and it naturally gets released at times when you were eating. So my body's probably thinking, oh, you've missed breakfast. But it doesn't mean that hunger just gets hungrier and hungrier and hungrier. You'll find you might get a little bit hungry. You tend to get hungrier to sort of mid to late morning, and then it can drop off. And that's why if you go to bed hungry, you often don't wake up hungry. It can change. So hunger level, feeling a little bit hungry now. Sleep level, sleep quality last night, pretty good. Had a few dreams about driving a Rolls Royce and it just wouldn't brake, so kept crashing into things. Energy level, always feeling a little bit nuclear. So tell you what, let's leave some room for improvement, because let's say that's a 4. My activity, haven't done anything. Did some yoga last night. Actually I've done a bit. I'm doing daily flexibility challenge. So I'm just going to put flexibility because that's all I've really done, and my meditation, and I'll put some notes in there. So I'm going to make this look prettier, and it will build as we go through. So now I am going to use this bad boy. So we're going to go onto a different camera so you can see that. So let me just stop that there. Okay, back at the desk, and I had already recorded this video, but it was just blank, and during that recording I did a few tests on myself, so I'm not going to do those tests again, because these little strips here are quite expensive. This machine here is very cheap, £3.99, about £18, about £1.80 per strip. I'm going to do 2 tests per day, and I'm going to test, and this does both of them. I'm going to test my blood ketone levels, and I'm going to test my glucose levels. And obviously the idea is, well, I say obviously you might not know these things, that my ketone levels will increase and my blood glucose levels will decrease, because my body will be going into ketosis and giving my brain those ketones which it absolutely loves, and hopefully that will be what gives me the extra mental clarity. So how do you do this? Machine here, you pop in, you take one of these strips out of here, which I've already done, which look like this. In fact, it's got my blood on it to prove that I've done it. You pop it into there, and then that will recognize whether it's either the glucose testing strip or the see, it's saying error because it's already got my blood on it. It will say if it's either the glucose testing strip or the ketone testing strip. You then get this little thing, put a needle in there, load it up, stick it on your finger, don't press the button, boosh, like tiniest 0.5 out of 10 of pain. Don't be afraid of it. I mean, they might get a little bit bruised after I've done like 20 of them over the next week, or 10 of them. And then you pop the blood, squeeze it out, a little drop of blood on the end of that, just touch it in there. It goes along there and gives us the readings. And I got my readings and I put them into the spreadsheet. So I'm just going to show you where my readings are up to for the day now. Okay, we're now back at on my screen. So these are the results that I put in at the moment. So day 1, 10:04, 0.3 on my ketone level. It was under 0.1 yesterday when I did it just after eating. So ketones are on the way up. Want to get that up to, you know, at least over 1 to be approaching ketosis. Blood glucose level 5.6. Don't even know what HCT is. I have to look at that. My weight 70.3, body fat 18.7, BMI 24.9. I want to get down to about, I don't know, 22. Bone mass 4.1, body water. You can read these things. Skeletal muscle mass. Systolic and diastolic blood pressure. I am like stage 1. Where's this boy? You know, let's bring him up. Is that appearing on the screen? Yeah, here she comes. So, like, I'm in here. No, I'm in sort of elevated, and maybe a little bit in here. So high blood pressure, stage 1, hypertension. So I need to keep an eye on this, and that again was part of my motivation for this health journey. I mean, I'm pretty much doing everything you can do. Well, no, you can always do more. Let's be honest, we can always do more. Feeling good. So that is the end of my morning 1 video.